esports is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. And for us as a business, we felt it was proper and appropriate for us to look into it, and also to also position a stadium or like ours in a different way. To say, well, we position our stadium to become a hub for esports in the city and in the Eastern Cape at large. So esports for us as a business brings us new money. Hence, it was the motivation for us to go for esports.
Now, how popular is esports in the Eastern Cape?
I think esports is popular, but the people were frustrated, and then they are still frustrated because there isn't a lot of platforms where they can participate and get together and enjoy to play the game in a competitive manner. So we're looking forward to our event at the end of the month, where we will be affording them the opportunity and the platform where they can participate in a competitive competition.
I think it's a huge one for South African esports, and specifically FIFA players in South Africa. We have one of the most competitive bases of players. FIFA is arguably the most popular game in South Africa between competitive players and casual players. So I think giving us an opportunity where all these players can come together, and especially in different regions, because predominantly these big esports events where the top 16 and the final players can come to an actual physical venue tends to always happen in Gauteng. And I think that we lose a lot of talent who maybe doesn't have the internet connection or the infrastructure to compete because they're in a different province. Going to Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium is going to allow us to see even more talent. And I'm also really excited about the game versus India, getting to see the top South African FIFA players compete in that friendly, because of course, the more international competition we have, the better. Our players have been playing really well against some of the international competition. And I think it'll be inspiring for those new players that get to come to the stadium for the first time to see the best of the best competing with the overseas talents.
The gaming world in South Africa is definitely growing massively. The esports space, we're pretty much still lagging behind the Asias and the States from a money investment point of view, from a big event side. Internet speed and connection is still a big issue in South Africa. Data costs is a big issue in South Africa. The mobile gaming space in South Africa is massive and growing. So, a lot of people might not know that they're gamers, where, you play Candy Crush on your phone and you're essentially a gamer. So you might not think it, but you're taking part in a mobile game and you're involved in that ecosystem.
Just how viable is a massive, thriving esports community in South Africa, bearing in mind those challenges?
I think the one thing that's got to be realized about these esports fans and gaming fans is that they experience events right around the world in the virtual space. They get exposed to really high quality events. And so if you're going to put on something in South Africa and it's not up to the standard of what these kind of gamers are seeing right around the world, they might not be as interested, and they could attend a virtual concert in a match or in a game right around the world, and they don't have to go to your actual stadium. So it's tricky, no doubt about it. We need investment, we need sponsors to get on board. But if we don't start somewhere and we don't have more, venues and stadiums thinking about putting on these events and thinking about, hosting these sort of events, we'll never get there. So it's going to be an interesting space. Great that Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium and the Eastern Cape is taking this proactive view. We've seen the likes of Comic-Con and the Rages and the Russia events in taking place in Gauteng, and those events are successful. So, can the Eastern Cape pull off an event? It'll be great to see come the end of the month just how well that event does.
Obviously, if you're a gaming fan and you're an esports fan, you've seen all the big shows that you get to see overseas with the lights in those big stadiums. But the problem is, I think we've spent a lot of time in South Africa trying to copy what we see overseas, and we shouldn't. We have a very unique flavor, and I think South Africa has a very unique style. And that's why I'm very excited about the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium partnership, purely because I think one, we have very, very specific barriers to entry when it comes to the correct connections and getting online. And by having the stadium involved, like I said, that there's an opportunity for kids around the Eastern Cape, and not just kids, but adults as well, whoever plays FIFA, to actually be able to come and play on the best possible connection. That's step one. And it's something that I do think is going to help alleviate some of the data costs and access to the internet. That's going to give us an opportunity to get more people. And also, I think it's cool that we're doing it this way. I think, one, we've chosen a game that isn't maybe the traditional big esport that you see overseas. Normally, those are the likes of League of Legends or CSGO. We went, you know what? FIFA is the game that most South Africans love. Let's go with this. And we're going to do it in a stadium where your traditional footballers are. FIFA, there's that link there as well. So a lot of the people that are playing FIFA are actually either ex-football players, current football players, or fans of football. So I think that this partnership is great. I think it's the right step forward for us. And I also think it's cool because we're starting to develop our own unique South African flavor. And I do think for esports to succeed in South Africa, that's what we have to do. We don't need to copy what they're doing overseas. We're going to do it our way. And I think Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium is a really good start to see if our way works. And I have no doubt it will.
What do you say to those people that come with comments that, esports is not actually a sport?
So it's funny you say that, because I think my mom's still waiting for me to get what she calls a real job, because she's not quite sure what I do a lot of the time. But I think that when people say it's not a real sport, I mean, if you block it into the confines of what you think a sport is, where it is a physical exertion or whatever, so be it. But I do think that there's similarities that you can look at. So the highest level of play, even if you're playing at home, I can guarantee you those top players, they're on this extreme level of play. They train 6-7 hours a day. Believe it or not, they're not these sort of overweight nerds. They're very fit. A lot of them are, like I said, ex-athletes, because there is a huge amount of strain that goes into playing at that level from a mental point of view. If you can imagine having to focus at a screen for an hour, 2-3 hours at a time, you need to be fit, you need to be healthy, because it takes just as much. And obviously, you do need to ensure that you stay physically fit as well, because we know if you're physically fit, you can concentrate more. So there are similarities in game as well. I think the thing that we love about sports is watching people at the highest level compete, and watching someone come out the winner. That's what we love. We love that story. We love that someone is just superior to everyone else, or a team is superior and they come out the winner. We've got all of those elements in esports as well. It's not a traditional sport in the sense that you want it to be, but it provides all the same entertainment. It's still watching the best of the best compete against each other. It's just in a different format. So if you love traditional sports, I can assure you, coming into esports, when you watch those games, you'll get just as excited. The storylines are there, the narratives are there, and it's all that same energy that we love.
The fourth industrial revolution has been talked about so many times and in so many contexts, but it's always addressed as something that is still coming. And then COVID came and fast-tracked that whole period, to like 5 years and stuff like that. It meant like it has to happen now. So whilst we were all still trying to find our feet and everything, for us, we saw an opportunity to say, well, here's a vehicle which is esports, and it is also for me as a business. It's going to help me get new people into the asset, but it's also going to kickstart the digital economy, and also contribute to the bigger objective of the city of creating a smart city. So for them, they were like saying, thumbs up, mate. This is exactly what we needed to kickstart positivity with regards to the fourth industrial revolution.
And the DStv Premiership returns